I'm gonna go plant the last apple tree. It's getting cold out at nights right now. I need to get it out of that pot before it freezes, because it'll be fine in the ground. Apple trees are supposed to freeze, but they might not do good in a 1-gallon pot all winter. Just took all the solar down from the well pump. It's September 30th, be the first tomorrow. But it was almost freezing temperatures last night, and it looks like it's going to be consistent, like pretty much consistently below 35 degrees now. Pretty early cold front. Not the earliest I've seen up here, but pretty early and consistent. Looks like it's going to stay cold, so I figured I'd take the well down, and I put some pool shock in the tank to shock the water that's in there, and then that water all flush out through the well, which will shock the well as well. And that way everything's all clean and bleached up, so there's no fungus in there from this year when next year starts. But yeah, I just took the solar. I'm gonna try to get that solar hooked up to the shed where the freezer is, because I put that lead acid battery. I took the I took the lithium batteries and brought them down here to the cabin. I put the lead acid battery back in the shed to run the freezer during cold nights. But I'm gonna take this solar panel that was on the well and put it up there, and be an extra 50 watts that I can put on that battery, and it shouldn't overpower that controller. 150 watts. It probably will never see 150 watts, and that controller is rated to about 120. I'd probably say that's about where those two panels would peak out. Is the Renogy panels are cheap, and they're good for the price, but at a 100-watt panel, I've never really gotten more than 81%, pretty much, maybe 85. If you're in California, you probably get 85 or 90, but in Maine, I haven't been able to get better than like 81%, and that's like angling it just right. So 100 watt and a 50 watt, I would pretty much never get over 120, so I'm pretty safe with that. And it's just the controller, it's not the actual battery. So I have a controller down there. But yeah, getting everything ready. Fall is coming in. The trees are changing. Kind of weird. You know, this tree turned all brown and yellow, and that tree's still green. This maple's still almost completely green. You can see there's an orange one down there. So things are changing kind of slow. It's because we got a lot of rain, like 4 or 5 days of rain right before the freeze. Which sometimes that'll help make the change go faster, but the water, the rain was warm, and the ground is still warm, so hasn't gotten cold enough to get the wet ground all the way cold. But yeah, fall's here. Bird hunting season started. I had a couple shots at a couple, but I'm only gonna take them if they're really big grouse, like the size of a chicken. If it's the size of a chicken, then I'll take it and I'll eat it for dinner, but otherwise I'm just gonna let it roam on the property, not put too much pressure on them. Yep, favorite time of the year though, fall. I'm excited. Another winter on the way. Definitely got to find some work this winter, online preferably. All right, there she is, green apple tree, right on the edge of this new orchard area I'm opening up. Got to come over here with the mower and push all this down, push it back. But I'm waiting for the leaves to fall off the rest of these alder trees, because I have this big pile of branches with leaves on them because I was impatient. And burning branches with leaves on them is dangerous and a pain in the ass, you know? Like, it shoots up all kinds of ambers, and definitely risky with my cabin and everything, so I try not to mess with stuff that could be risky to the cabin. It's made out of light pine wood, so it'll burn up in about 30 minutes probably. I mean, nothing left of that cabin. So I try not to mess around with fire, so hopefully these leaves will fall off throughout the winter, and the next spring I'll be able to just shake them, and then the leaves will fall off and I can burn them then. But yeah, this apple tree is in the ground. Should be its permanent spot. Should be psyched about that. It's a nice little whip. All these apple trees kind of stayed kind of small, and some of them branched out, which the first year they should just stay like a whip. But I had some bugs that like would eat the tops and then make them branch out. So I don't know how those apple trees are gonna do, but this one that I put right next to these beautiful sunflowers, but this is at the corner of the vegetable garden here, standing right in the light. But this came from a gala apple, and I transplanted this twice this year. So I moved it out of the 1 gallon and put it in like a 7 gallon at one point. And then I put it in the ground like a month ago. See, that one's a nice apple tree too, but that one branched. This one stayed a whip all the way up. You know, the first year it should be a whip. It shouldn't have any branches all the way up to about 4 feet. And then it will be easier for it to support itself when it does start branching out. But you can just cut all the branches off of it. You know, you don't have to worry about that. But I'm gonna let the branches go on that one right there. Looks like it'll fill in fine. But this gala apple tree is looking good. I mean, it's almost it's past waist high, so that's good. That's about how healthy and how big you want your whips to get the first year. But only one of them did. The rest of them didn't get that big. So yeah, I should have apples on this tree within 2 or 3 years, because I'm gonna feed the crap out of it and I'm gonna prune it and train it just right. So I think you can get apples in 3 years from seed if you feed it a lot, you know. I'm gonna feed it like it's a hydroponic vegetable plant, so should grow really big. And then I'll have a couple apple trees in the corners of these gardens, and then in 4 or 5 years, when these apple trees are so big that they're blocking this garden out, then I'll stop using this garden for vegetables, and I'll just make this into the orchard down here by the cabin, because this land down here is the best for the orchard. And hopefully by then I'll have some nice gardens all composted and worked up in the back on the highland. You know, it's really sandy up there, but once I build the gardens, it gets much better sun up there. It does dry out quicker up there, so I gotta haul water, but it definitely gets better sun and better heat and everything up there. And this is a good spot for lettuce and potatoes, but all the other stuff I really want to grow out back on the hill. Yeah, garden's coming to an end. All this poison ivy is coming to an end. But everything else is pretty much dying back. Tomatoes are on their last couple tomatoes. The stick broke that was holding them. Sunflowers are going to seed. Still don't have my chickens, which sucks. But I'm getting eggs really cheap from my neighbor, unwashed, across the street right next door. So I'm actually getting eggs probably about as cheap as I'd ever be able to produce them for. So I do need to get my chickens for survival purposes, but I don't see that I don't think I'd save any money getting my eggs having chickens. You know, it cost me probably about the same, or maybe even a little bit more, to make my own eggs, and then I get them for $3 for a dozen, unwashed, fresh from the neighbor. So hard to beat that. Eat 2 dozen eggs a week and rice and potatoes and squash, and that's pretty much all I'm eating right now. But my food bills are like $10 to $20 a week. It's pretty ridiculous. I'm pretty psyched about that. Oh yeah, fall, beautiful fall. Trees are turning on me. Oh, got both the batteries in here. One's only at 12% though. Gotta get that one charged up tomorrow. Nice fall colors out there. Everything's changing. Clean the window so it's actually, you can see through it. But yeah, winter's coming. It's cold at night now, for sure. It's only the 1st of October, or it's the 30th of September, and yeah, it's cold at night, but almost freezing every night. But that's nice. I like this weather. But the cold is coming and long winter's coming. I gotta find something good I can do online for work for the winter that I can do from the cabin. I got the booster, so the signal works pretty good, and if I had a job, I could easily add more data, so I definitely have enough data all the time. So yeah, I'm trying to find a job online for part-time. Gotta figure something out there. Beautiful out there though. It's the nicest time of the year. Still no chickens though. I gotta figure that out. Probably gonna end up waiting until next year, but if I do that, then I have to get a solar panel and a little brooder, and probably a battery too, even, for that, you know, so I can keep the babies warm. That's why I didn't do that this year. I was hoping I could just buy some, but I found some, but not close to me, and my car's not running well, so I haven't tried to take the trip to get them, but I haven't found any locally. I figured I would by now, but kind of crazy times, so I think everybody's just keeping their chickens and probably eating them when they're too old to make eggs. Although I don't think they taste very good, an old hen like that. Yeah, beautiful colors. Just sitting in the cabin thinking about preparing my mind mentally for the coming winter. Yeah, I really like this fire pit right here. I'm burning some of the stumps. I pulled another one up, getting that area all cleared out. And the leaves are falling off of these alder trees. I guess they don't turn. I thought that they turned yellow before they fell off, but most of them have been falling off green, so I guess I probably just need a couple windy days and most of those might fall off, but I'm still waiting for them to fall off. I'm gonna cut these two trees still. Maybe I'll wait until spring, just so there's some shadowing and some shading on the ground so it doesn't dry all up. But there's one more row of those kind of trees I gotta take off, and then there'll be like pretty much like a 1/4 acre over there I'll have all cleared, and that'll be the new orchard. Apple, pear, and cherry. Yeah, and maybe some peach here and there if I can find somebody who has some cold weather peaches that have been successful up here, but probably not. Like southern Maine, you can sometimes get a peach, but I don't think you could probably get one to grow up here in the far north. But this pit is a lot bigger, which I like. I fit bigger stuff in it. And yeah, the stump that I built the fire pit around is burning up. It's halfway done, but a bunch of ants just came out of it. So I guess there's some ants living deep in it. I got all that to burn. I might cut it up and let it dry somewhere, or I might burn it, but it's not dry. But I'm running out of stuff to burn here in the fire pit, so that's all poison ivy vines covering that pile. But underneath that, under those vines there, is a pile of branches and shit that we cut in the spring. So there's a lot of good stuff under there that should be dry. I should be able to break it, you know, like with my hand and my knee. Like I should be able to break it easily. It should be that dry. So that's what I need to be burning for the fall. But I have to cut back all that dang poison ivy. Poison ivy looks really pretty during the summer when it vines all over everything, because it gets really thick in some spots and it makes this like trail look like all mysterious and like crazy, like dark trail, you know, even in the middle of the sunny day. Like it's so dark down there because these poison ivy vines cover everything. But whenever I have wood stored over there, it also covers that, and then I get poison ivy all over me when I try to pull it all out of there. Which I'm pretty sure I'm not allergic to it anymore, but I'm not sure. Sometimes every once in a while a little speck will show up every once in a while on me, you know, like a little blister. I usually, like anytime I deal with anything around the poison ivy, at the end of dealing with it, I go in and then I take rubbing alcohol and I strip my arms, like my arms and my hands, and then take a separate piece of paper cloth with some rubbing alcohol and wipe my face and my neck and everything. And then that just guarantees that I don't have any oils left from that damn plant. But yeah, I gotta break into that pile, because if I'm gonna have wood to burn this fall here at the fire pit, I'm gonna need to break into that pile. Damn vines, poison ivy. Well, the only pepper, jalapeno, I managed to grow. For some reason I cannot get peppers to grow up here. They grew great in California, but I just can't get them to grow here. I'm gonna eat this thing, see if it's spicy. A couple of female grouse over in the partridge berry tree. They're in season right now. And we've got a rifle, but we're not gonna shoot them. I don't feel like processing them right now and having them for dinner tonight. Pretty birds though. They really love those partridge berries. They're just mental about them. That tree has like 3 or 4 inch thorns on it, and they keep on getting pricked. You can see, because every time they get pricked, they like jump back. But they like the berries so much that they're willing to deal with the thorns. Beautiful little grousies. I just made this little log bench here by this new fire pit. Pretty sweet. I think I need to cut into it a little bit more so this thing, it rocks a little bit. Sadly, the electric chainsaw hasn't been working very well. It's been acting up, and yeah, that sucks. Hopefully, I only have a little bit of oil. There is still oil in it, but maybe it's just oil because it's done this before. So maybe it's just when the oil gets low, it does this. You know, to prevent you from using it too much with low oil. So I'm gonna get some oil this week and hopefully it'll fix the problem. But if not, I'm gonna have to order another one of those, and that does have a 5-year warranty, so I'll try to get it warranted if it's acting up. But I'm gonna buy another one of those sometime this winter just so I have 2 of them, and then I'll have an extra battery, because that is what I do all my firewood with, so I need to have an extra one of those heads. I should probably get an extra head and 2 more of these bars, and then like 6 of these chains. That's what I should be trying to get together, because yeah, I need it for firewood. I'm still burning stumps, still clearing land, and yeah, hunting grouse at this time of year. They're all over the place. Hunting them, not really shooting them really. I've had a couple good shots, but I don't know, I haven't felt like eating one yet. I will eventually here though. Yep, so got a bench, just sit by the fire. Sweet. Oh, epic sunset. I meant to take a picture though, started filming. Yeah, the sunset's crazy, but I'm also setting off the alarm. Little sprucey. Can't really see it through the window. I think he's waiting for the sun. The sun's gonna come over the ridge in a couple minutes. He's been just standing there looking around. That's a spruce grouse. It's grouse hunting season, but we don't hunt. It's against law to hunt spruce grouse in Maine. You're only allowed to hunt the rough grouse, and you can definitely tell because I could walk right up to that thing and basically pet it, especially the ones that are in my driveway, because I've been hanging out with them a lot the last couple years, and they're pretty much completely used to me. But since they don't have any pressure from hunting here, they aren't scared anyways. Plus, they're naturally not very scared, you know. Spruce grouse don't jump until you're like right on top of them. They wait until the last minute to take off. Where a rough grouse, as soon as they see your orange hat, they'll take off. But yeah, this guy has no worries in the whole world. He just chills. I could go out there and like sit right next to him and he'd probably be totally kosher with that. But yeah, some of my neighbors are harassing me. I don't know what's up, but some of the tweakers that live up the street, only in the winter too, mostly. So I think he goes away for the summer, the guy who's fucking with me. But they pulled up in a diesel truck last night and did a burnout in front of my house, and then drove to the bridge, which is right down at the end of the road. And they turned around and then stopped at my driveway again, and then turned around at the neighbor's house and then did a burnout past my place again, like at 10 o'clock at night, which they're doing it just to get me up, you know, just to wake me up and fuck with me. I don't know why. I don't know who they are. I don't know anything about them. So it's really crazy that I'm being harassed by these people. But yeah, I don't know. Not much you can do. There's no cops up here, so there's nothing you can do as far as law enforcement. And the cops that are up here will not come around for that. Like, there's no way they'd come around for that. Basically, if you've not been shot or someone's not pointing a gun at you, the cops will not show up here. So... oh, that grouse just flew the coop. He must have saw something that scared him, because he just took off into the trees. I'm gonna go out hunting. That tree is such a crazy color. Crazy out here. I love it when the trees are like that. It's like on fire. Still got a lot of clearing to do over here. Freaking jungle too, and all these vines growing on everything is that poison ivy, so Yeah, it's a pain in the arse. But I gotta cut this whole line still. This one, this group of trees, this group of trees, and this group of trees, and there's one more in there. And then push all the debris back, dig up those like 6 stumps. And then there'll be a nice little triangle here, and this orchard area will be done. But it's still a lot of work. I'm trying to wait until these leaves fall off of these damn alder trees, so I don't have to burn all the leaves. But they're taking forever. Taking forever to lose their leaves this year. This plant will lose them all in one night if it gets really, really cold for like 3 days straight and then windy. Then they'll all blow off. But they stay green until they blow off, so they'll just hold on too for really late in the season if they don't get those conditions. But yeah, this is what I'll be working on next couple weeks. Grouse hunting too, but I'm mostly doing conservation hunting. So I go out, I hunt, and I try to get the bird. When I got a great shot, I just pretend to shoot it, and then I make a mental note of the area, how big it was, and everything like that, and yeah, and then go on hunting a different area. But I haven't shot a bird yet, but I've had definitely 7 or 8 good shots with my 22 on some nice birds, a couple really big ones, but most of them were mating males, which I don't shoot those at all. Actually, I try not to shoot those on the property, and I only shoot the females when there's at least 3 in a group, and I just shoot the biggest one. But yeah, I think I've talked about that before. Anyways, I'll be clearing land. That's what I'm doing, getting this cleared. The next spring it will be all ready, and I'll have as many fruit trees as I can possibly afford. I'm gonna tell family members, even like for Christmas, like just get fruit trees or gift certificates to these online places where I can buy grafted trees, because fruit trees are definitely the mission for this spring. 5 or 6 more rows of potatoes and fruit trees. That's what we're gonna add on to the homestead next year, next spring. So that's the plan, just prepping for that. Whoa. Yeah, the world's crazy. Russia's still fighting Ukraine and pretty much NATO, and China is still being pretty chill, but that's because they just saw how poorly this went for Russia. So yeah, they haven't made their move on Taiwan yet, but hopefully it doesn't happen. It seems like maybe that might be de-escalating. You know, China's not ready. They need more warships, so they don't want to go to war right now. And nobody wants full-blown nuclear war, obviously. So we'll see. Maybe Russia will use low-yield nukes sometime soon. I don't think they'll use them in Russia and in Ukraine. Everybody says they're going to use a low-yield in Ukraine. I don't think that'll happen. I think that they'll use it in. Eventually, they'll put conventional war. Will be so crazy in Ukraine that the Polish will try to step in, and then they'll nuke Poland. You know, a NATO country that has nukes. Russia can't nuke Ukraine. They don't have any nukes, so I believe their laws say they can't do that. So yeah, I don't think that'll happen, but poor Poland is always right there in the middle of all these things, so I think that's probably gonna be the first NATO target. Probably. I mean, I don't know, we'll see. By the time you guys see this video, we'll probably know though. Yeah, it looks cool out there with the leaf change and the sunset. I had to get a picture of it. About 5 o'clock, same day, got all these stumps starting to burn. Have a nice fire tonight. Processed all the green alders down, and I'll let those dry right there, and maybe if I have a fire I might use them, or I'll let them dry, and next spring I could put plastic over them, and next spring I could probably burn them in the stove once they dry all winter. But we'll see. I just keep them there. They're still green, so I really don't want to burn them until they're dry. I got that all cleaned up. That's what we're looking at here. Gonna get in there. I gotta get in there with the mower in the next 2 days and knock all the stems and sticks and small stuff down. Then it'll be nice and clean in there. And then next spring should get some grass and 6 fruit trees at least. So yeah, pretty pumped. Getting the land cleared. We're probably about a week away from all the leaves being gone, but most of the leaves on the maple trees are gone, so I'm gonna start cutting firewood again too. Got the 22 out just in case a grouse goes waddling by. I haven't shot one yet this year, but I've seen a lot of them. But I'll probably shoot one and eat one this week sometime. Beautiful out here. Perfect time of the year. Well, I'm dying. It's a big pile. I should have brought you guys before I did this line, but this is the line I've been showing you for the last couple days. Let's see if I can get back here. This is where we've been working, cutting this orchard out. And I definitely added another, like, I don't know, 40 by 10 foot space to the back of it. Taking me all day sweating it, even though it's only like 40 degrees out here. Sweating bad. And it's all poison ivy. I've been trying not to touch my face, but I'm gonna have to go strip down with rubbing alcohol in a minute and get all this poison ivy off me, because all these trees I took down today were covered in poison ivy plants. I've just been ripping them down with my hands, and I'm just gonna have to strip down really good with rubbing alcohol tonight, and hopefully I won't get poison ivy all over me. We'll find out. Definitely find out if I'm allergic to it too today, I'm sure. I haven't been for a while, but I think it depends on how much exposure and everything, how often you've been exposed. I got it really bad in Brownfield like 4 or 5 years ago, and then I was pretty much immune to it after that. But now it's been so long since I've had it really bad, so who knows. But yeah, just clearing this out. Nice big chunk of land. Putting everything to the fire pit. But at the end of this, I'll have like a little over an extra 1/4 acre here. And it gets really good sun here. And now that I got these trees pushed back and cut out in the right way, I'll get some really nice sun. So I'm gonna get 7 trees in here and be a nice little fruit orchard by next year. Pretty psyched. But yeah, I'm gonna work on this stump, get that stump out. Probably take me about 40 minutes, and then I'm gonna quit for the day. But I've got a lot done today. I'm pretty psyched. Beautiful time of the year. Well, I should probably do some grouse hunting before it gets dark tonight.